All right, I got 10 o'clock if everybody does. What I'd like to do is call this meeting to order. If you would, as always, rise for a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America,
the Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning for our special meeting. Madam Clerk, roll call, please. Here.
I can't hear.
We're getting the microphone moved around, Dan. Thank you.
No problem.
Fourth District, Daniel Dornell.
Here.
Okay. Fifth District, Christine Sid. Sixth District, Ted Bilski.
Here.
Seventh District, Christian Jorgensen.
Present. Let the record show 6 present, 1 absent. First item on the agenda is item 2A, ordinance, second reading. Anybody willing to carry that, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, I move for approval of second reading an ordinance to establish responsible business practices and submission requirements for projects receiving economic consent.
Second. Motion's made, it's seconded. On the question or statement, Councilman, you had some conversations with the commissioner's attorney.
Right. My understanding is, so the only glitch we had previously was the language wasn't in our binders that we had agreed to.
Right.
There was a simple deletion in one so that we didn't eviscerate the PLA that's been standing with the county for a number of years. And the other one was more ministerial in that it just reflected what was really an amendment to a current ordinance that we already had. So I believe because unless Fetch is on, we're in agreement and these should be in our binder now, right, Ray?
Correct.
Okay. So, I mean, with that.
Any other further questions? There being none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please. Yes.
Yes.
She said my name, yes.
Hey, Tori, just leave the mic over there. It's not gonna,
Yes.
yes. Motion carries 6 yes, 1 absent.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, move for approval on second reading an ordinance to establish responsible bidding practices and submission for submitting bids to performance construction work and public works projects in Lake County, Indiana.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded on the question. There being none, roll call.
Menchaca.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Dornell.
Yes.
Jorgensen.
Yes.
Ham. Bilski.
Yes, motion carries 6 yes, 1 absent. Onto the resolution.
Move for approval of a resolution, Lake County Council approving refunding of the Lake County 2000 Building Corporation ad valorem property tax, first mortgage bond series 2012.
Second.
Motion's made, seconded. Ray, do you have anything, or Larry? Yeah, you wanna, the motion's made, seconded on the question, Larry, would you want to give a quick overlay about?
I'll give you a very quick overlay. There should be a savings realized refinancing this bond. It will be paid off in another 2 years. Right now, they're looking at $80,000 potential savings over that period of time. And we would recommend approval of the resolution, Finance Committee. And if something would happen with the rates, the feds go skyrocket, why we're gonna keep an eye on that, and if that happens, why we may stop the process. But hopefully that won't occur till sometime in March. Who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow? Recommend that the council approve that resolution. Forward with it.
Any other questions for anyone? No? Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, we'll get it together. We don't meet in this room often. Sorry, folks, for any.
Brown,
Yes.
Zernail,
Yes.
Jorgensen.
Yes.
Ham,
Yeah.
Menchaca,
Yes.
Bilski.
Yes, motion carries 6 yes, 1 absent. And Mayor, you're up. So Councilman Jorgensen, the floor is yours.
No, so yeah, I'll let Mayor Ann. We've obviously had some discussions before with his team. I was at their presentation last year with regard to this project. It's been in the works for some time. It's very encouraging for unincorporated South County, as well as the city of Crown Point and surrounding municipalities. So, I mean, with that, Mayor.
Thank you, my name is David Durant, Mayor of City Crown Point, and, I'm honored to be here at your meeting here and, live, and the ones that are on, Zoom. We understand how that works and at City Hall as well, and, we appreciate everybody's time and efforts here today. Kristen Jorgensen, who represents the South Lake County, District, has worked, well with the City of Crown Point, representing his constituents and working with, the City of Crown Point to improve the quality of life of infrastructure. The things we're talking about today are not very sexy. These are things that you'll never see, never, never really get involved with as far as, above ground type things. And the only time we get calls is when things don't work. Okay. So City of Crown Point has been working very hard on our infrastructure to improve the quality of life from water, wastewater, and stormwater, for going on 15 years now and beyond. This is a transformational type of project that we have an opportunity to work with the state and using the ARP monies to actually impact not only Crown Point, but the South Lake County residents that are actually here today, and the future residents are going to call Crown Point or Lake County their home going forward. We all know that as more people move into the region, that's a direct impact to our tax base, our AVs in the region. It also provides opportunity for economic growth and business opportunities when you have more rooftops and disposable income. That's an economic opportunity here. But the one thing that we can do as we move forward is improve the AV of getting people off of septic and well water as we move forward. So the first phase we're talking about here is a sanitary southeast corner plant that would open up the opportunities for us to partner with the county in areas that are currently under those current conditions of a septic and or have issues in their wastewater treatment, and have them become partners and do the City of Crown Point's inventory of business and stakeholders. But future growth as Lake County looks at to the southeast as people, again, to stake their flags and raise their families here, we have the opportunity to partner and make those homes even worth more with having proper infrastructure to house those things. So the IFA under Mr. McGough has given us an opportunity to look at a regional project, and that regional project has an opportunity for up to a $5 million match per application. And they've looked at this project and looked at the fact that we can actually partner with you guys with 2 different applications. The City of Crown Point can put $5 million in for this application and receive a $5 million match from the IFA through a SWIFT grant. That's the wastewater treatment infrastructure plan that's coming through the state. And the county can do the same on the same application, same project, and put $5 million in and receive a $5 million match. So we're getting basically 50 cents on the dollar in the first 20 million going into this project. The City of Crown Point is poised to move forward on a $99 million project that will, again, be a generational type project for not only our city, but open the doors and partnerships for people who live around Crown Point, and also who will eventually would look to build and expand and build residential housing in the north or in the southeast corner of the county. We understand that you guys represent everybody in Lake County, but when we start to look at the infrastructure improvements that you have this opportunity, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's coming from the federal government to the state to the locals to be able to partner in maximizing and having partnerships with the local, county, state, and the federal government at the same time, which generally doesn't happen very often. So I appreciate you guys' opportunity. I'm here to answer any of those questions. I have provided you guys some work product documents here. The City of Crown Point, if this thing moves forward and gets you guys to be on board with this project, we're about 2 years out from that plant being realized in the southeast corner of the city. And again, so that's that's the treatment plant per se. But once we're able to do that, the most exciting part of this is because the Lake Michigan watershed ends right around 133rd Avenue, right? And it's the farthest part it can go south. If we are able to have a treatment plant that returns water back to that plant, we're then able to opportunity to put more water from Lake Michigan into those homes and get people off well water and actually get them into the Lake Michigan, working with our local partners as well. Crown Point is a perfect example. Is when in the late 90s, we switched from well water to Lake Michigan water, and that has been the absolutely driving force of our growth of our community, that infrastructure. Again, it's not sexy, right? It's just water coming through the tap. It's making sure that you can flush your toilets and stuff like that, or stormwater is getting removed out of here. Nobody really cares about that unless it doesn't work. Okay, it's our job as elected officials to make sure that we're changing today's dynamics of infrastructure, but we're actually, if this project would move forward, would be a 20, 30, 40, 50-year investment in Lake County. So I'm here to answer any questions you guys might have. I appreciate Kristen being involved with this from day one. Mr. Bilski, I know you represent part of Crown Point as well, but you guys all wear the hat when it comes to Lake County residents, and this thing is a transformational project that would really put Northwest Indiana on the market share for housing opportunities.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question. I mean, just if you could explain, extrapolate a little bit on the geographical area that's going to be covered by this plant.
Well, obviously, if this plant becomes real, which we believe it will be, the city of Crown Point is poised. We've already have our utility committee, which is made of our council, endorse this project. So the southeast corner of the city would build a treatment plant that can expand. By having this, we would take over 1 million gallons off our current plant, which is very important to you because like the West Long subdivision, things like that, they can actually tap into our plant without having our current stakeholders be worried about wet weather conditions. Okay. If we're able to move 1 million gallons off that plant itself, that leaves the capacity for our outside partners such as yourself to be able to go into that current plant. But the southeast corner opens up everybody to that corner of the county as development takes place, and we can pre-plan for those things that have maybe possibly Indian American Water involved, the city of Crown Point providing public to private partnerships on infrastructure and development goes in there. The city of Crown Point's not looking per se to annex those properties. We're looking to be able to be a customer base and an opportunity for them to go ahead and tap into our current infrastructure. That would open up about 37,000 EDUs. Okay, so you do the equivalent of that, about 1 or 2 EDUs per household. So that tells you how much market share that plant could provide, not only to Winfield, unincorporated Crown Point, South Lake County itself, current customers that are currently built in those areas that are in septic and well water could actually transform and get into some partnerships to be able to do some of those things. And what's great about this, if this thing moves forward, the IFA through Mr. McGough has got other opportunities out there to partner with on other grants that would partner with that as well, make your dollars even work harder for your non-residents of Crown Point.
My only other question, and thank you, Mayor, is location. Do you folks already have a location in mind? Or have you, I mean, I don't want to get too far into the weeds necessarily, but is that going to be an issue, or is that something that you have taken care of?
That's not going to be an issue. We have not per se have a contract in place for land acquisition yet. We're going through 2 parallel paths. We're going one with this project as well, going through all the approvals of IDEM and things of that nature to make sure everything's going to be approved, and that's well on its way. And then we also had our interceptors that we're going to go through, which was the original plan that we're going to talk about by bypassing certain things on the west side of Crown Point that would allow your customers to come into our plant. Those are running on both parallel paths, but we've endorsed the project of going to the southeast corner, and we don't want to put our the cart before the horse here. We want to make sure we have willing partners before we make that next step to go into actually pinpointing a land location. So your guys' part right here today is very, very critical. Southeast corner of the city. Yes.
Like when you say southeast, help me out.
I would say like, we're 65 and 231 in that corridor back that area in the geographic location of the corporate limits of the city of Crown Point. Yes.
And that soil out there works.
What's great about that is a lot of that's gravity fed. So we're going to save a lot of infrastructure on, lift stations and things of that nature. So whether we're coming from Winfield, whether we're coming from the south, a lot of that will flow naturally to that plant. And we've done a lot of research on the best and highest use of the location of that plant.
So reaching out to Winfield, that would be.
We've already had some initial conversations with them, and they're excited for this opportunity as well. I don't want to speak for half.
I mean, it's
That's their deal, but we have reached out to them as well, because obviously you read it in the newspaper every day. They're growing just as fast as anybody else is.
And then they pay what the homeowner pays a one-time hookup fee or?
Yeah, it all depends on the development. Like I said, if you have a residential neighborhood that's already existing and the county wants to come in, we've done that in the past, like Herman's Lake, you guys are our customer,
Right.
and they pay you, you pay us through a pass-through. Or when we start to go through these new subdivisions, yeah, the infrastructure would be set up and those individual households would be payee of the city of Crown Point. That's the best, best plan that we currently have out there. So what we're asking for is, is to be able to partner through a large influx of dollars are coming in. Crown Point is taking its local money to match, and we're hoping that you guys will do the same, so that becomes a reality, and that opens the doors then for other possibilities.
How soon, Mayor, would the money have to be committed to the project?
Well, obviously, I think we're
For
all,
the-
we're all
meet
under
the IFA.
yeah, we're all in agreement that we have a certain timeline to use the ARP monies, or use them or lose them, right? Our commitment right now is to have some type of resolution from you guys from a financial impact. We're not asking for you guys to deposit money right up front. We're asking for you guys if they have a resolution of support for those dollars, and let us go through our due diligence and the applications on your behalf through the IFA. And upon approval, obviously they'll let us know when those deposits are going to be due. We wouldn't look, if everything was a perfect world as right now, we would be breaking ground in 2 years. So there's still time. You guys can keep the dollars in your accounts. You can draw the interest on those things. We're not asking for you to exchange those dollars now. We're just asking for that support, that resolution, and a commitment, so those applications can be real when it comes to the decisions of awarding those dollars.
Well, 2 years is an interesting number because we only have until 2024 to encumber.
Right. Well,
So-
when I say that, we're going to be having those things in play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whatever the
Way in front of that.
yeah.
And I see Commissioner Repay, Mike, I see you're here. Did you have anything? I know you guys are on board with this plan wholeheartedly, correct?
Could you give Mike a microphone?
Sorry, Dan.
Next budget
No
cycle,
problem.
we'll get the commissioners to buy a couple more mics. That way we have more than one.
We're going to
There we
trade in
go.
all the boats that we have for microphones. Anyways, so without getting too into the, I didn't see this is a presentation. That's why I came to see the presentation. I have no clue really other than what you just said. So I can't say, yes, we're in favor of it. I
I
look
did
forward
know.
to reading the rest of the stuff.
Commissioner Tippy was in one of our last meetings. We were all together,
Right.
With Commonwealth and the city. So I know Tippy is aware of, or at least what the plan was. And I understand that.
I don't want
it's
to speak
evolved a
for
little bit.
Commissioner Tippy here because he's not here, but I know that in those conversations, he was well aware of residents that are outside the city of Crown Point and the challenges they have. And for them to be able to have relief and hook up the city of Crown Point, this is the first major step to open those doors. So we have an additional $1 million, or not $1 million, but an extra 1 million gallons available at our current plant for that western portion. And then the conversation went from there. So, Commissioner, I apologize if that information didn't go your way. I'll be more than happy to talk to yourself and Commissioner Allen as well, because he does represent the north part of Crown Point as well. We were just working with our direct stakeholders in the elected fields. I mean, if the microphone's not working, I can speak on your behalf. Be more than happy to do that.
We can send something out and I'm happy to do so since it affects my district. And we had conversations and we can set something up between myself and whoever are part of our committee here. And any of the commissioners then that'll participate, and we can get Commissioner Allen involved as well. But we can take the lead on that and hopefully talk to Commissioner Repay and set something up that's mutually amicable for everybody to sit down. I think that'd be a good way to move it forward, especially since they're going to be involved.
I think the most important part too is to understand that when we sat down with Mr. McGough, that you guys have a very important project on the north, that if you put in for SWIFT grants as well, that having one application on one area and an application somewhere else in the county does not preclude you guys to have both applications be awarded. So that was the one thing we wanted to make clear, that was you had to pick and choose which one you went to. Mr. McGough said that those applications would come in and could be awarded based on those projects independently. And, so that way, if you have an opportunity to use 5 million on one side and get another 5 on the other side, sounds like you're going to get 10 for 20, which is, money being handed through the state.
Right. Good point. I will. Our office will set that up
Okay.
and move that forward.
How does this impact other communities? You mentioned something about others can book in. At what cost? How does it impact other communities outside of Crown Point?
Well, you've got some residential neighborhoods around the outskirts of Crown Point now that are strictly on well and septic. Okay, and there's an impact to those residential people each and every year just to maintain and keep those current conditions up. As we move forward and there's development around those homes, we would be working with those stakeholders on the private side to upsize those capabilities. So that way, if neighborhoods want to go ahead and switch over, obviously there's a cost to that. But you get in sooner, it's cheaper. We all know cost rises up. It doesn't get cheaper as we go. But those will give opportunities for those residential people to be able to go ahead and tap in and get Lake Michigan water possibly, and no doubt get their sanitary handled at a different capacity. Because, once a septic fails, that cost itself by itself would be probably just as much would it be to participate into a co-op community to go ahead and tap into those sanitary systems.
So the developer will pass that on to the individual homeowners.
If we're talking about new, I mean, typically when they develop a residential subdivision, there's costs associated with those things. So whether there's it's passed on by the purchase of the lot, it's rolled into mortgages, or if there's another document with the city as far as a public-private partnership agreement on tap-in fees and things like that, that all can be worked out. But we can't even get to that conversation unless we have a plan.
So this is solid with the IFA that they will finance this. They're not looking for upfront money.
The IFA is on board with us building a Southeast treatment plant, and we've had great conversations with them. We're just trying to see how much of that is going to be through stakeholder dollars, local dollars, ARP money, or what we're going to do with our current ratepayers in Crown Point right now. So the one thing we're trying to protect is if we can eliminate 1 million gallons off of our current plant, okay, and our stakeholders currently pay a part of that on their rate they currently have now, that only makes their ability to have wet weather conditions be more favorable for them on an individual basis. So that's the individual stakeholder coming from the current stakeholders. Then the private side, which we're dealing with local developers who want to build and expand developments, there's another fee that comes from them to be able to tap into the city itself. Okay, that's the other third. And then the other third, then we talk about this through grants and partnerships of people who are going to be directly affected by this type of investment.
Who sets that fee?
The city of Crown Point does. We
Just like
set
the
those.
sanitary board would. But I think the big thing to understand is that the new plant, what it does is it allows to address flooding issues, to address this intake in water. If you go to North Maryville, we're switching areas, you and I. It's so soon to be my area. But you look at those private lift stations, I mean, the folks over there, they get so much water coming in. If you look where Miller's School is, Bon Air Lake, and was a private lift station there. I don't know if Maryville took it over, but those folks had huge problems with the water. They couldn't displace the water, so they have shut-off gate valves put on their houses so the waste doesn't roll back into the house. I think we've all been to older neighborhoods and seen that. So a lot of these things are going to be corrected, which is, it's not so much going to lower the rate, but give them a better service.
Yeah, to give you an example, we just did a $20 million water infrastructure project in the city of Crown Point. Okay, that was about a $5 impact per month per stakeholder in the city of Crown Point. We're using about 5,000 gallons, and it'll fluctuate from there going forward. So if you look at this project itself, our average 5,000 gallon user in the city of Crown Point on the residential side is about $23 a month, which is about 1/4 the cost of the average person that is coming out of Hermis Lake. Okay, so if we're able to be able to put this infrastructure in and say our current stakeholders contribute something, so it's a benefit to them itself, and then there's other opportunities for your other customers that are outside the city, anywhere between those two numbers that they currently have now is a direct savings to those customers that we're talking about. So $110 is incredibly high for just a sanitary fee each month. So if we can reduce that, and they pay back into the city of Crown Point for that type of investment, that's a win. Okay, and if our current customers see a $5 to $10 increase and it protects them in wet weather conditions, the one thing we want to do is before we start to look at taking other outside agencies into our system, we can't do it on the backs of our current stakeholders and saying that you're going to pay more for them and have the capability of not having a wet weather situation protect you. So we're working on both sides of the aisle here, protecting our current stakeholders, giving a better capacity. And because of the older parts of Crown Point can't take the new through the old pipes, right? So we have to be able to redivert, remove, and put those in other areas. So when we talk about our current stakeholders, that's a whole nother conversation with them that if this goes through, their cost increase is basically protecting their investment on their current usage and giving them better wet weather conditions. And that way the outside people are going to come to Crown Point, they're not paying for them to be able to tap in. So they all have their sense of responsibility.
Well, I think you've already answered my last question, that there've already been public meetings on this issue.
Yeah, our utility committee met, which is 3 of our 7 council members. They've endorsed this project. The Board of Works has endorsed this project as well. And we've had long, intensive meetings with IFA on the partnerships of this project. And the city is moving forward on the larger portion of this project, versus just the interceptor. Because at the end of the day, the interceptor is a Band-Aid to the situation. The Southeast plant gets us the next 50 years of dedicated service to not only our residents and stakeholders, but our partnerships that live around Crown Point and its corporate boundaries.
Very interesting that Councilman Christian Jorgensen brought this issue on behalf of a Democratic mayor. And he is to be trusted, I think, but
I'm not sure how to answer that, Councilman, but
I don't even know if I should respond to that one, Charlie, other than there are some darn good Republicans in Crown Point as well. And,
point them out to me.
I will, I'll take you around there. I spent a lot of time there.
at the end of the day, when you flush your toilet,
Larry's-
R's and D's go down the same way, I think. So, yeah. Listen, if you've known me for my terms in Crown Point, R's and D's don't matter to me. It's about quality of life, and it's about partnerships and collaboration. So, chocolate, look at this. This is nice.
I had to get it out of my office.
So, but I appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate, hopefully, you guys will take this under consideration, because this, if this was 2 years ago and you guys were going off your current inventory of dollars coming to you, that would be a hard ask. But when it's coming through the federal government, through the ARP, because the ARP money is supposed to be used for water, wastewater, stormwater, broadband, and some tourism opportunities here, I think we have a once in a lifetime generation opportunity here, that we all can say tomorrow that we left in a much better condition than we currently had. And we actually took dollars and partnered. A perfect example in Crown Point.
It is. Right.
That being said, the dollars are there. So let's
They got here, and now it's time to spend them responsibly.
correct.
And there's a lot of people that are going to be affected by this, by a project like this. And it's worthwhile, regardless of a D or an R. So
I think what Commissioner Repe was saying, though, is that we should be in concern that the Republican U.S. senators and congressmen that voted against this, they don't want the money spent at their district, I think. We have to check with them and make sure it's okay we spend the money in their district. I mean,
boy. Well,
Are we changing topics here, or what are we?
I know.
better move along. We have actual work in government to be done.
Yeah, so, I mean, what
Here's
the
what
city
we're
of Crown
gonna do
Point
is,
to do?
Councilman Jorgensen and our committee here will set up with Commissioner Repe and Ellen and yourself. We'll review it. We'll bring it back to us, and ASAP, we will have Attorney Zarmak draft a resolution, bring it back to us, allow us 7 to vote on a resolution supporting this project, and you can take that to the bank and say, hey, they committed 5 million to me.
If that's the plan, I appreciate that opportunity and appreciate that support from this body here. I appreciate.
That's the plan.
From the commissioners to the council, yeah,
There,
getting
but
together.
That's the plan.
That's the plan, and okay, so we're gonna walk out here with a positive feeling, so.
With a very positive feeling. I think from the majority of us, it's a good program, and I think you summed it up perfect. This is how we lead this county, so we leave Crown Point for the future. what can happen. It's a very good project, just like the one we're gonna be doing up north. So, I think you guys meet, Councilman, bring it back
Yep.
to Attorney Zarmek. We draft a commitment resolution, and then I think that's all you need to move forward from it.
And in the meantime, between that, I will get some type of language from IFA and Mr. McGough that explains, what they expect on the application and the timing of those. And that way you guys can have that money in your accounts as long as you can, so you can make the interest on it, which I think is very important.
Right.
To your body as well, as because then you can use those dollars elsewhere on those interests being made. I can appreciate that. We would just wanted to walk through with, we do that application, that when we start to look at this $99 million project, how it's being paid for and what partnerships we have.
If, well, we can commit to that partnership and that 5 million.
Or do so. Okay, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Back to the council members and, to staff,
Is there
Terry.
anybody from your, before we do that?
Okay.
Anybody from your staff that you wanted to have say anything?
Oh, that's a great point.
Yep.
Yeah, you want to comment?
Hey, you want to
anything?
chime in on that one? I mean.
You want to keep your job, in other words, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's absolutely private and confidential information you have.
Does state that development that does happen in the future, cities and towns surrounding should go to the cities and towns. Providing this infrastructure allows that cohesion with comprehensive plan.
Right, that's a very good point.
So, we look at that partnership with many communities that surround unincorporated. No, thanks for bringing it up.
That is a valid point, and I'm
Yeah.
sure Ned was gonna say that.
Yeah.
There are there time constraints in which you need, when do you need the resolution, the actual resolution?
At some point, I would say over next.
The earliest we could vote on this would be March 8th. Are we, wait, say again?
Well, if you've got the work session schedule already, just do a special meeting along
the
with
3rd.
that.
Today.
But we were prepared. They haven't met with the rest of the committee, the mayor's office. Commissioner Allen. I know, right. Well, we
Well-
have a study session, so we do it at the study session, and our study session.
And get it
is
done the 8th. The 3rd. So that's the 3rd, and then we have the 8th.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
So when we look at the 3rd, that's not putting us too bad back, right? So today's the 15th, so we're looking at 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it's right in your time frame. Like you said, 3 weeks. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So we'll have a special meeting scheduled. In addition, our study session will have a special meeting on the 3rd. And then 10 a.m. and then immediately following. And then Councilman Jorgensen will schedule with you, Commissioner Repay and Commissioner Allen, and I think Charlie, and is it L or it's on the committee on this ARP committee?
I think it's you and Charlie.
I think it is you too, yeah.
I think.
So you guys have to get together with the mayor and the commissioners, and then by that Thursday have it in front of us so we can vote on it.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Gina, anything for us? You want to be able to flush your toilets and not have them come back in the basement and everything? Well, you want everything, don't you?
Yeah. Gina wants off septic.
Yeah, well, that's what the people from Illinois think of us, right? Oh, they don't even have indoor plumbing there in Lake County. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, guys. Is there anything else? Anybody else have anything to bring in front of us? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hereby adjourned.
And we have another meeting.
Nope,
Nope, we're done.
we're done.